Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of the Climate Podcast. Today, we have on a very, very special guest.
Young blood.
Zach Kusper. Zach, welcome to the podcast.
How's it going, man?
Hey, Ibrahim, real quick, you want to tell everyone how you know Zach?
All right. Basically, I know Zach from our local gym. I've been hooping with him for 2, maybe 3 years. It's been about that time. Let me just say that when we were hooping with him, he was still a dog, but over like Corona and over quarantine, this man has been putting in work in the gym. I think you built a house. I think you built a court in your backyard or some shit in your house, right?
My dad, that's been there for a while. We had to fix it up though. We fixed it up during quarantine.
Yeah. But I know he's been putting in the work over quarantine, and he came back a whole new beast. But before we get into everything, I do want to talk about this crazy story of Zach putting a guy on a blender. So we were hooping, and there was this dude, I think he was your age. He was just talking crazy the whole game, the whole session. And then we were finished playing, and they kept talking, and Zach's like, want to play one-on-one? Like, all right. So they played one-on-one, and I think it was game point. And Zach hit him with a little hesitation move, took one power dribble, the guy reached, and then next thing you know, Zach spun, and the dude literally got caught going like this. There's video of it, and we have a still shot of it, and it's crazy.
There's still shot. He's left at the free throw line. I'm at the bucket.
Yeah,
that was fun. That was a fun day.
It was crazy. I'm doing a terrible job of describing it, but he finished the layup and won the game. It was insane.
Yeah,
that was fun.
I myself have had the privilege of playing pickup against and with Zach, and I don't think I've ever seen a person talk as much as Zach does, but he can dish it out both with his words and with his game. So my question to you, Zach, is give us your best smack talk stories. I'm sure you've got a lot of them.
Man, all my coaches, they all knew that I was good at, on the defensive end, and something I could do to help us was go guard the other team's best player and go do something to throw his head off. So that's kind of where I learned how to do all that stuff, because eventually be clever. We were playing, one of the best stories, we were playing Adam Miller. If I know I've told you this before, we were playing Adam Miller. He's at U of I right now, and he was on Mac Urban Fire at the time, who was like one of the best AAU teams in the country. And he had 0 points at like halftime or something like that. And I did something. I don't remember what happened, but I think like I ripped him and like ball not bounce off his foot or something. And I said, "Man, I don't know your name." He said, "Google me." I said, "Wow, I should use that one sometime." So that was one where he got me. That was pretty good. I mean, there's times where Michael Foster, he's going to be in the McDonald's All-American game this upcoming year. He was shooting a free throw, and so we really needed a bucket, him to not get that bucket right there because we were up by one. So when I walked by, I took 2 hands, I pulled his sock down to his shoe. He was wearing the high socks, like most players do, and we really need him to miss. So I pulled his sock down to his shoe, and he looked at me like I was the craziest person he's ever seen in his life, because no one would ever think to do that.
Did he make it?
Yeah, he made it. No, he's good. No, he's something.
It's like J.R. Smith untying his that guy's shoes when they line up at the free throw line.
Yeah.
I got someone else with that though. I don't even remember the team. I think it was a team from Ohio where this kid was killing us. And he said he was weird looking. Like we all thought he was wearing makeup or something, because he looked just like Justin Bieber. I'm serious, right? So I was like, I came out of a timeout and I said, like, first half, I said, "All right, I got Justin Bieber." To one of our guys, he looked back at me, and I just, before he even said anything, I said, "Yeah, you," just to make sure he knew I was talking to him. So then later in the game, I was having a decent game. I probably had about like 15 or so, and I was like out on a fast break or something, and to stop me, he like tugged my jersey. He like untucked my jersey and was tugging at it because he wasn't quick enough to stay back there. So next free throw, we were just standing next to each other. I told him, "Stop untucking my jersey." He untucked it again, so I pulled both the socks down to his shoes. That's like the classic move now.
In the middle of the game, I cannot believe it goes through your mind to be like, you know what? I'm gonna pull this dude's.
It's part of it. I talk a lot to my own team. If I'm talked to first by someone else, I will, because if someone deserves their socks pulled down to their shoes, I don't know. That's just like my classic move now.
You ever get beat up for like doing some like stupid shenanigans?
I've never gotten a technical before, ever. As
What?
much as I talk, I've never gotten a technical. The only tech I ever got was in 4th grade, and it was for a delay of game, so that doesn't count.
This
But-
dude.
Okay. Well,
See, I'm too good to not
Wait,
get
so
caught.
let's real quick. You currently play for North Central, right?
North Central College in
We just need
Naperville.
to gas you up a little. You play for
Yeah.
North Central. You played for Sandberg. Did you play all 4 years in high school?
Yeah, I played all 4 years.
Okay, so all
the
4 years,
typical
and
kid.
you currently play for North Central out in Naperville.
Yeah.
So you ain't no scrub. I mean, you
Oh, he
talk
ain't
a
no
lot, but you
scrub.
can back it up, bro. So
He's got a
There's a difference
bad.
between talking a lot. I talk a lot to my own team, and then if someone says something to me, or my coach says, "Hey,
And then
go
you
get in
start
that
going
guy's
off.
head," if my coach says,
Yeah.
"Go tell him what's up," I gotta go tell him what's going on.
Thanks. Thanks.
I remember. You probably remember this too. I told you, I'm like, Zach, you better be careful, bro. I got a bag. You go, yeah, you got a little fanny pack. I'm like, bro.
I remember that. That was funny.
So yeah, since you are the first college basketball player that has ever been on our podcast, my question to you is: you probably played against your fair share of good players. Who is the best player you've ever played against?
Man, there's a ton. I mean, I already told you Adam Miller. He's tearing up at U of I right now. DJ Stewart. He's at Duke. He's leading the ACC in freshman scoring. He's probably gonna be freshman of the year over there. But he's projected to go in the first round of the draft next year. Michael Foster. He was playing up. He's only a senior in high school now. He's a McDonald's All-American. Beachy Johnson's a crazy one. That's LeBron's nephew. He played for Hard Work Elite, a team out of Ohio, out of Akron. They were ridiculous, but he was a real good player. And then all those guys are great players, but the best player I'm probably like a really close friend with, and probably the most complete player just because he's a 4th-year man. He's strong, he's quick. Is PJ Pipes, Wisconsin Green Bay's starting point guard. He's a guy. He really took me under his wing. He's a leading scorer at Lamont High School all time. He's a great guy. He took me under his wing. We work out mornings all summer long, and he was a big influence on what I do on a basketball court. So
This is the
he's
guy you were telling me about a while ago, right?
yeah. I mean
Yeah.
he's a kid that he could be at a bigger school. He coming out of high school maybe couldn't have, but he decided not to transfer, to stick it out where he's at. And he's reaping the rewards of it. He's averaging, I believe I looked the other day. I believe he's averaging 21.6 or something like that a game.
Wow,
Crazy.
At a college level, that's a number.
ridiculous.
So he's playing
Very
real well.
impressive, yeah.
Man. Okay,
Yeah.
so you just mentioned a mentor of yours, someone you worked a lot with. So my question to you now is, where did your love of the game come from? Who did you grow up watching? What was it?
Where it first came from was my dad. My dad, he wasn't like a crazy basketball player. He was a 2-sport player in high school. He played baseball and basketball, but he ended up playing junior college basketball at Morton College before he just went to go work and start a family with me and my mom. But I grew up watching my dad. The number I wear to this day is 22 because that was my dad's high school number.
Mhm.
And
Pops.
yeah, that's Pops just got me into it. He had a ball in my hand at 3 playing against the 6-year-olds, and just from then on, that was it.
He had you playing U6 basketball at 3
For
years old.
real.
Yeah, no, that's what we were doing. Any league that would let me play, I was playing, and I'd be playing 4 different sports and 5 games a day, like when I was 4 years old, just to see what I liked, and basketball was the one that stuck. So
Jesus.
that's kind of what stuck around.
So who
On the
did
NBA
you?
level, it's definitely someone like a Jason Williams. I mean, he didn't play in my time, but that's my guy. I mean,
You know what?
White chocolate.
I can tell. This makes sense. You play just like him.
Dude, have you seen Zach do the elbow pass before?
Yeah, I saw the video on your Instagram.
Have you seen him do? No. Have you seen Zach do the elbow passes?
Yeah. I stalked your Instagram. I'm sorry, Zach.
yeah, there's one video of that up there.
I
That
saw
elbow
it, and
pass
I'm
is
like, yo,
nice,
did
bro.
he just? And I rewatched it. I'm like, yo, okay.
Yeah, I can't pull it out in real games, especially not here. But like, you can pick up. That's got to come out of that once in a while.
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Elbow
Well,
pass is filthy.
you talk about a bag. What's your favorite move, or at least? Well, my first question is, what's your favorite move? And my second question is, what's your favorite / best move that you pull off in game?
My favorite move, boy. It's a lot of reaction for me. I'm a smaller guard, so I got a lot of reaction going on. I have like I kind of cross over into a hezzy, So as I'm coming off that hezzy, I could pull, I could cross it
Sidestep.
back, I could go back between my legs, cross it over, or I could just keep going that way. It's all about change of speed. I'm a smaller guard. I mean, it's change of speed, especially at this level. The only good guards know how to go fast and slow. You can't just be fast, and if you're slow, you didn't make it here in the first place.
Yeah.
So if you gotta work on changing speeds. If you're only fast, you're guardable. If you're fast and slow, then you've got a chance to be a really good player.
Facts. Facts.
Jeez.
I know you like that sidestep too off the dribble.
That one's more for pickup. I'm not gonna lie.
Side. Yeah.
That one, if I pull that out in a game, I can pull it out in a game for sure. Like end of the shot clock,
Yeah.
when playing with the shot clock, that's what's different. But end of the shot clock, if I pull that out, that's okay. But if I take that with like 20 seconds left in the shot clock, you're going to the bench right there.
You're getting pulled.
He said he would have said we could have got a better one.
Yeah.
But
That's
no, I
true.
like doing that one in pickup. That one's fun. It's something
Yeah.
to work on because college is different from high school in the fact that if you show in practice consistently, you could knock down this shot, even if it looks like a tough shot. If you show in practice, I consistently have this in my bag, then you could pull that out whenever you want because
Yeah.
70% of the time that's your move that's going down.
Facts.
And your coach understands that. It's not it has to be an open shot. No, there's no open shots anymore. These guys are all understand. They're all athletic. They're all tall and big and strong. There's no wide open shots anymore. You have to knock down contested shots, and you have to know what you can do and how you can get into people's bodies. And basketball it's become different once you get to a different level. You got to read
Oh, I
bodies.
bet. I bet. You got the cream of the crop, and like you said, you have athletes. You don't just have random scrubs that we play with and pick up.
For sure.
Right? Everyone there they can all hoop. Everyone can hold their own.
So that sort of leads into the next question I had, which is about like what are the main differences that you've noticed between high school ball and college ball, and also how were you and your team in high school? Like, what was your record? How good were you guys?
In high school, our team I would say we were uberly talented. We had a ton of talent. We had talent coming off the bench. We sent a lot of guys to play college basketball. We were in one of the toughest conferences in Illinois. It's hands down. We had Bolingbrook High School, who was consistently top 5 in the state. Homewood Flossmoor was consistently top 5, top 10 in the state. Lincoln Way East was consistently top 25. I mean, we're in a tough conference, and we played everyone tough. Our non-conference schedule, I mean, we loaded up. My senior year, our coach loaded up our schedule. He said, we're going to go play the best teams, play the best competition, and we're going to see what happens. We ended up being, I think, 500. We were either 500 or a game above or below. We were right around 500. And then you go back and look at it, and you're like, man, we beat a team like Willowbrook with Everett Schofield is playing Big D1 ball right now. And we beat teams like the St. Ignatius's and city teams and all these other schools. But we were talented. Our high school team was really fun to play with. I've been playing with 2 of the guys in that team since I was in 4th grade, and those are my best friends. Those are the guys that I knew I could lean on. So when we played together, we had something for our senior year. Our senior year was
Game
really
over
fun.
when you guys teamed up.
Yeah, for sure.
So what is the biggest drop off between high school ball and college ball? Is it athleticism? Is it skill? Is it playmaking? What's the biggest difference?
It's all the above. I mean, there's no scrubs in college anymore. Anyone that could have made a high school team, you could be bad and make a high school varsity team. You could be really bad and make a high school varsity team. I've seen it firsthand. We had bad kids getting minutes in high school. I mean, it's true. It happens. It happens all the time. It happens everywhere. High school basketball, it's great. It's really tough competition, and no one's bad. No one. I don't want to say it. No one's a bad player. It's a high school varsity player. They worked hard. They're all good players, but there's a difference between guys that are going to get minutes and guys that are going to make a varsity team. And then there's minutes guys on varsity. There's guys that made it, and then there's guys that are willing and going to put commitment in to play college basketball. There's different tiers of high school basketball. And we had a lot of guys on our team that were they were ready to go play college basketball, and we sent a lot of guys out there.
Okay. So how has your role as a point guard changed from high school to college ball?
Oh, it's way different. I mean, being able to lean on Atharva last year, who was our shooting guard, and he's an absolutely fantastic player. He could have walked down a lot of places if he wanted to, but he's a very smart kid. Decided not to play basketball in college. He's going to pursue a couple of different medical majors. He's going to be making really good money in a couple of years. So he decided not to play basketball. But The difference is you don't look over and lean on someone anymore, because right now, as a freshman, I'm fighting for what I need this year, and I'm fighting for what I need next year and the year after that. These are my guys. These are my brothers. I lean on all them for everything off the court. As soon as I step between the lines, if I see you across from me, you need to be killed today, because
Oh
I
yeah.
need to take your spot in front of you, your spot in
Oh yeah.
front of me.
Oh yeah.
And the whole role thing, I mean, college basketball is, I don't want to say it's more, it's more go make a play. There's no, you run set plays, and set plays don't work as much because you have these huge kids that could blow up screens and get through screens, and screening is hard now. In high school, if you hit someone, half the time they give up. Now there's nobody giving up, because if you give up, and you don't play defense, you're getting pulled right away.
There's more
High
at
school
stake.
basketball and college basketball are different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But getting through, eventually have to make a play, and a lot of times that comes down to the point guard's hands and a high ball screen, and go attack a big hip, go split a screen and find a shooter, go to the basket, something, anything like that.
So
Yeah, that makes sense.
my question is, like, when you're at the college level, is it on everyone's mind that they want to make it to the NBA? And also, is it on your mind? And how does that affect the way you play or the way others play? Is it a dog eat dog world because of that, or what happens?
No, honestly, there's no thoughts of, I don't think, personally at my level, we're at North Central College. I mean, we've sent guys overseas to play basketball. We've sent guys other places to play basketball. When you're in this season, unless you're completely like Jalen Johnson dropping out, we all have our own opinion about that. That's a really poor move on his part. There's nobody, I don't think there's anyone in the country, honestly, unless they're really bad teammates, they're thinking, oh, I'm thinking about the NBA. I'm thinking about the next level. I'm thinking about trying to play overseas ball right now. I'm thinking about all this stuff while they're in the team setting. Now, if I'm working out by myself at midnight, shooting around in Murner, getting shots up, yeah, I'm thinking, hey man, I'm working towards a bigger goal. I want to play here. I want to get minutes here. It's goals are, you got to set your goals. You got to hit smaller, big goal. So like the end goal might be, oh, I want to play in the NBA. I want to play overseas basketball. I'm not oblivious to the fact I'm 5'8" and I'm athletic, but I'm not get over the rim and dunk on people athletic. So the NBA might be a stretch for me, but I'm also not oblivious to the fact that I'm working my tail off to try to play an overseas level of basketball after I'm done, or to be able to have the mindset and the mind to be able to coach right after I'm done, especially the overseas thing. I know I've talked to you about this before for sure. I mean, this is my dream now. You just dreams too as you get older. When you're growing up, you're third grade, fourth grade, you're saying, man, I want to play in the NBA. I think I can. And I was that kid. I would say that. I definitely thought, oh man, I definitely think I'm being in the NBA. Then I stopped growing at 5'8" and decided, man, overseas basketball sounds pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's not a bad thing, honestly, man. Overseas, like we had a conversation about this, I think last episode or 2 episodes ago. Overseas ball is still like pretty competitive. It's not, it's not a
Overseas
joke.
basketball
So
is ridiculous. Those
so
players,
I mean,
every
the
single one of
fact
them
that
could
you
be.
are working towards that is still honorable, man. Like
There's a
like no one should be able to knock you on that.
overseas basketball. There are people in overseas right now that could come in and, if given the opportunity to play 30 minutes in an NBA game, would average 20 points and
Oh,
whatever
yeah, no
rebounds and all
doubt,
that
no
stuff.
doubt, no doubt.
There's
Euro
talent
ball
everywhere.
is still competitive, man. It's
There's
not the
talent
cream of the
everywhere.
crop like the NBA, but you still got some hoopers over there. You still got some athletes.
There's European ball. There's that Australian league is on the come up. It's not great. They had a couple NBA guys, which is making it seem like, oh, that's the league. It's
Yeah,
not. But they're doing things over there.
yeah,
There's plenty of leagues all over the place. And the good thing about working with PJ all summer, like I said, is I'm getting introduced to all these people. Like Broderick Thomas is he just got picked up by the Cavs G League team. He's was a D2 basketball player, and then he worked. He got a summer league contract, and now he got picked up by the Rockets. He ended up playing in the regular season for them for the first couple days, and then once their G League team got traded over to the Cavs G League team. So
yeah,
he's a journeyman already at the age of 22, but he's working towards a different goal.
yeah.
And to meet people like him, to meet people like Gage Davis, who's, I mean, God, averaging 27 or started somewhere near 27 in the where is he at? He's in Denmark right now. He's in Denmark playing ball. He's up for MVP of their league. To work out with him, I mean, 4 mornings of the week is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
To work out with, there's a couple guys there that are in a Puerto Rican basketball league. There's a couple guys. They're all over the map at those workouts, which is, it's crazy to meet those people and get to know them and really pick their brain about things, because I see guys that are ridiculous athletes and I see guys that look like me that shoot 70% and say, look, this is the reason I'm here. This is what you have to do to get here if you
Yeah.
want to play your style and up ball and get to be playing where you want to be.
I mean, shoot, I wouldn't mind
No,
even
that
in Spain.
that's amazing experience that you have too to pick those guys' brains, like the G League guy and the overseas guy that plays in Denmark. Just being around that type of competition is always good. I mean, yeah, it's fun like dogging people and playing against competition that's as good as you or worse or whatever, but the real hoopers want to play against like guys that are 10 times better than them so they can get better and
Oh,
learn.
those guys
So,
know I'll go after them. Every summer
yeah.
morning, we're getting up at 8 in the morning to go to the gym in Romeoville, and we all meet up there. We get after it. I mean, there's a trainer there that's by the name of Sam Franklin, and I've never once paid for a workout with him because he just loves the game. I mean, he's just a great guy, and he unlocks the gym for us. He gets us in there. He makes sure that we have a place to go to get our work done, and he's just a fantastic guy for that. And I can't thank him enough for that.
Yeah.
And he's part of the reason that he introduced me to all these people. I mean, I first knew PJ. PJ introduced me to Sam, and then as soon as PJ introduced me to Sam, he said, "Look, man, I got this workout the next morning. You want to come? I got this workout Tuesday. You want to come?" And he started introducing me to all these other people, and he's been a real bridge for me. So I really appreciate him for that.
Oh yeah.
Dang, dude, that's actually crazy.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to track back a little. You name dropped somebody. You said Jalen Johnson, and he said everyone has their own opinion about it. So for those who don't know, Jalen Johnson is this Duke freshman, basketball star. He dropped out of college of the season the other day. There were two things. He called it opting out. Someone else called it quitting, and people called it quitting because like, oh, you're at the end of the season. How can you just leave the team? But some people call it opting out because he's not even getting paid. So he has every right to do that. So what do you think about that whole situation? Be as honest as possible.
I think it's quitting, and he is getting paid. He's getting paid to get an education, even if it's just for 1 year. You're still learning a lot. I mean, I've learned a lot in my gen eds here, and I mean, stuff am I gonna use in my life? Maybe, maybe not. Depends what I choose my major as. I'm still learning stuff through my gen eds though. So hey, if I bring it up at the dinner table, my parents are gonna be like, "Wow, that's pretty cool." But I mean, that's quitting. You quit on a team that you told a team you were going to be there for at least 1 year. You finish out that year. You told a team, hey, I'm going to be here for this amount of time. All right, you're my boy for this amount of time. Then I'm counting on you to show up to practice every day, show up to
Exactly.
every game, show up to every pregame meal, show up to every film session. I'm counting on you to be everywhere you're supposed to be for the next couple of days because I'm holding you accountable and I expect you to hold me accountable back.
Honestly, that probably makes sense as to why Duke was not doing nearly as good this year. Probably because of people like him. And you hear that, Jalen Johnson? Winners never quit and quitters never win. All right?
Jalen Johnson's still going to get a bag as soon as
Jalen Johnson, the slander
as
of
soon as
this week.
draft day comes over.
Yeah.
Jalen Johnson, the slander.
Actually, I mean, if Jalen Johnson wants to come on the podcast, by all means, I'd be more than welcome for that. Oh my God.
This dude.
We're ruining our. Never mind.
I'm sure Jalen's a great guy, but he's a kid. He made a mistake, I think. But in his eyes, he probably thinks he made the right decision because he's the lottery pick with the NBA body, NBA build, and he's a beast. And
Yeah.
he's got people in his corner telling him he made that decision for a reason, and I don't doubt he's reading everything that's out there saying he quit. And he's probably having second thoughts because he's a kid. He's gonna change his mind about things, and that's something you can't just change your mind about and go back on. So
Yeah.
it was his decision in the end, but there's also people in his ear talking to him and advising him to do things.
Most definitely.
You also said something interesting as well. You said he's definitely getting paid, and he's also getting his education paid for. So my question to you is, considering that majority of especially the D1 college basketball players are getting their entire education paid for, should they get a separate type of payment from the team or the NCAA, or what do you think about that whole situation?
I don't think so because I think that is getting paid. I mean, you're getting your education paid for, but that's not. I mean, everyone just looks at it like that. Okay, you're also getting shoes, you're getting jerseys, you're flying on a plane half the time to half your games. Plane or bus or coach bus or whatever you're going on to your games. You're getting meals 3 times a day. You're getting to work with some of the best coaches in the country for free every day. You could just text them on your phone and say, hey, I want to go get a workout in for 2 hours at 2 in the morning. You want to come? They'll most likely say yes. They're your guy. That's their job to be there. I mean, you're getting all these things for free if you're getting a full ride somewhere, and that's just ridiculous to me. But I mean, I understand the other side where there's an argument, oh, these players should get paid because what if they get hurt? Okay, well, if they get hurt, they're still getting at least 1 year of free college. So, I mean, then they're just a normal student. They got to deal with the same things that normal students have to deal with student debts and all that stuff.
Wow, you're actually the first person I've seen give this answer. It's actually pretty crazy because you're actually in college basketball, so you have a completely different, perspective than pretty much everyone else I've asked. So, I mean, now
Wait,
this,
real quick. I think it's because he appreciates what he has. Like he mentioned the fact that you have the bus, you have the plane, the transportation, the meals, you have that coach that you have at any time to hit up for a workout. So his answer does make sense because he sees it as, yo, like I got all these things, I might as well use them to my advantage. Other guys are taking that shit for granted and they want money and they want, a per diem and whatnot. So that's it makes sense.
so this sort of concept, I mean, this sort of discussion of payment and whatnot also, begs another question is what do you think the best route is to go to the NBA? Because, you're currently in college basketball. You did say you want to go overseas. Do you think it's college basketball? Do you think it's overseas? Do you think it's G League? What do you think is the best overall, best package deal?
Oh, without a doubt, just by I mean the stats of the draft and all that stuff. College, big time college basketball. Your blue bloods, your Duke, Kentucky, Kansas, um, Michigan State, big schools like that.
Yeah.
If you
North
if you end
Carolina.
up going somewhere like that, that's your easiest route. There's no easy route. I don't want to say it's easy to ever make the NBA. There's 60 guys drafted. It's the hardest sport to go pro in. It's not even close. The hardest sport to go pro in because there's only 2 rounds and 60 people drafted. It's by far the smallest draft out of any other pro sport.
Barely
Yeah.
any ever seen any minutes as well.
And barely these guys are seeing minutes. Half of them are G League guys for their whole life. I mean, there's a difference, but if you're a huge talent, I'm not going to the G League for a year. I mean, they have a different perspective than me though, because I mean, you see guys like Jalen Green and Kuminga. I'm watching them play ball, and Kuminga looked like he was going to be average at best in the G League, and you could tell he transformed what he did. I've seen him play in high school in person. I've seen him see what he looks like now in the G League against grown men that are, and he went from being maybe a late second round pick to some people have him going first now over Jalen Suggs, which I understand that too. I understand both routes. I still would beg to differ that going to Duke, Kansas, a big blue blood school would be the best like prime recruits way to
Yeah.
get into the league. But I mean the G League's becoming a way. There's no denying it anymore. The G League, they used to say, oh, you can't do it, you gotta go overseas. G League is just the trap. You'll be trapped down there forever. It's becoming a way. They've made a whole new team just for draft prospects called that Ignite team. They made a whole new team just for them. I mean, they're basically playing college level ball with a bunch of college kids, and then they're going up against grown men that have done it before instead. So it's turning into a way. But
Yeah, the
I
the
just don't
G
think it's
League
at that point yet.
is the G League is capitalizing on the fact that a lot of guys don't want to play college ball, and a lot of guys want to go straight to the NBA. So forming a team like that, or even making like giving them incentives to kind of go straight to the G League is, like you said, it's waking up the G League and it's becoming more legitimate. It makes
I
sense.
love I love the G League. I love watching the summer league. I think those guys fight. I think they fight because they're fighting to put food on the table most of the
Yeah,
sometimes, and they're fighting for A to do their dream job, to B to sometimes put food on the table, depending
yeah.
on if they don't have a backup or if they were a one and done, and all of a sudden they find themselves in this situation. So I mean I think those guys are absolute dogs. They play hard. They're guys.
So you mentioned that Jonathan Kuminga has improved so much. You thought he was average, and now he's going to be one of the top picks. So my question for you is, from high school to college, what is the biggest skill set you've improved on?
My mental skill set. I went from being a kid that gets confident after seeing a few shots go in to a kid that could be overrate and think the ninth, 10th, 11th, and 12th are going down. So, I mean, it's just a difference. As soon as you, there's no room for not being confident anymore. You don't have to be cocky. You don't have to be rah-rah at people, but you need to be confident. You need to have your own moxie, your own swagger to yourself, because otherwise you're going to get ran over as soon as you step in here. And I've seen it happen to kids. I see it happen to guys I know from back home when they went to their school and they're just getting ran over right now, or guys that even coming into high school, like eighth graders going into high school. These freshmen, they think, oh man, I'm gonna play on varsity. No, you're not. You're not gonna play on varsity. No, you are. I mean, it's not how it goes. I was a 4 year kid and I'm playing college basketball now. I went freshman year, sophomore year, varsity year, varsity year. So I didn't skip the process. It's a process. You get better every year. You take what you can from every coach. You take what you can from the older guys. I was great friends with all the older guys. I was a sophomore, and I would go hang out with the varsity guys. I would go to their practice, just sit on the floor and watch. I mean, I would be in these guys' ear right as soon as they come off the floor. Be in these guys' ear, ask them questions. I mean, especially the guys here. The guys here are incredibly receptive. The seniors here are receptive to anything I would ask them right away. They'll take me back out onto the floor. They'll say, "Look, this is what you did. This is what you asked. This is what you should have did. This is what I would have done. Maybe this is what coach said to do. But maybe if you just do it like this instead, it'll work a little better." I mean, the seniors here are just incredibly receptive. I'm really thankful for them, especially a couple of select guys that have just really taken me under the wing here.
So you mentioned a lot of things that some younger basketball players some advice you would give them. So if you were to pick just your best advice you're giving to young hoopers looking to play college ball, what would you give? What would you say?
And get in the gym and enjoy it. I mean, I was a kid that got in the gym because you have to fall in love with working. You can't fall in love with playing pickup ball. Playing pickleball is great. And I'll show up to play pickleball with you guys anytime you want me to. But I guarantee I've been in the gym 2, 3, 4 times before I get there. I've got my shots up earlier. I went to the gym to lift earlier. I went to do something else earlier. I have plans to go later. I mean, it doesn't start with pickup ball. It's not pickup ball it's great. It's fun. It's really helped. There's no substitute for playing. When you have to take what you did and you have to apply it. Pickup ball's the way to do that. I mean, pickup ball with you guys, with these workouts over the summer with Sam and his crew and all those overseas guys, it's a way to apply it. It's a way to learn. But I mean, there's no substitute for work. You gotta get up. You gotta get shots up. If you're lazy, you're not gonna play college basketball. If you might not play high school basketball. If you're incredibly gifted and lazy, you'll still play high school basketball, but you won't make it past there.
Yeah.
Wait, random question. Do you have a nickname? I don't think I've ever heard anyone give you like a nickname. Do you have
Me?
one?
I mean, like, it depends what you consider a nickname. Like, I'm Zach, so people will call me Z. But besides
Okay.
that, or they'll call me like Cusp because it's like the short part of my last name.
Yeah.
There's not really like a nickname. Most of the guys
I
here
just
call me
was
by my
randomly
full
thinking of
name.
that. I'm like, I don't think I've ever heard anyone say like give you a nickname or anything. I was
No,
just
no
wondering.
one's out here calling me like Clutch or anything like that. I mean Z and Cusp. That's about it.
One of them 2K preset nicknames.
Hey, I wish I was like Showtime or something like that, but I don't think I have that authority yet here.
Mama
We're
Junior.
gonna have to work on that one.
Yeah.
I'll
Hey,
find something.
I'm gonna start calling myself Young Bull like Colin Sexton.
Zach
I'll just
Attack.
put it in my Instagram bio. See if it catches on.
Oh, Young Bull.
Yeah, Young Bull.
Zach Attack.
Well, that's what my grandpa used to call me. I have family that calls me that, but I've never heard someone else call me
Yo, shout out Zach Attack, Jamil.
I love Zach.
that.
Oh, dude. Yeah. He's referring to some other guy. I don't even want to bring it up. Anywho, I wanted to shift what we're talking about now to the current NBA. Right? You're a very avid NBA fan. You watch a lot of basketball. So I want to talk about some current things that are circulating around the NBA. Trae Young says he was snubbed from the All-Star game. Do you think he was snubbed? And is his butt sticking out move fair?
I don't think Trae Young was snubbed from anything. I think Trae Young is barely a starting point guard. But
Barely.
there's a difference between what he does and guarding someone. He can't guard anybody. He gets the
Oh,
free
he
throw
can't
line a
play
lot.
defense for Jack. He can't play defense for his
He
life.
gets the free throw line a lot. There's no way to win with a point guard like him. Point guard's an important position on a team. You can see that with teams like the Bulls giving the ball to Zach LaVine to start letting him play point, like he came up in the league doing, and moving Kobe to a natural 2. That's a huge difference with that. Just one coach made one adjustment and other 500 team instead of a way under 500 team. Point guard's an important spot, especially in the NBA. Trae Young, I mean, he's uberly talented. He's a talented dude. He can shoot the ball. He can shoot the lights out of the ball. But he's not. I mean, I know people think he's talented and he could score, and that's the way the NBA is leaning towards. But I just don't see him as like a. He's not going to start until he's 38 years old, like a great point guard, because he's not that. He's a shooter. He's going to burn out by the time he's 32, 33, and can't run up and down the court. He can't like the same he can anymore.
But I think that's why they brought Rondo in. I think they brought Rondo in so he can learn how to play as a true point guard while still getting his 20 to 25.
If he does it, that'd be. I mean, all power to him. I think he's uberly talented. I just don't think he guards anyone. I think he needs to.
I mean, no one's arguing that. He's, I think, statistically the worst defender in the league, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
I have
So,
no
I
idea.
mean,
There's a lot of guys that don't play defense in that league. But
yeah.
yeah, the league has changed a lot. But I
Lucas,
think that's why they brought in Rondo as like the locker room presence to kind of show him the ropes of like, yo, this is your, you're a point guard. You need to get your other guys involved if you want to make noise in the playoffs.
yeah, I love Rondo. That's one of the other guys I grew up watching. Rondo was sick. He
Rondo's
was
nice, man.
on the Celtics. I remember I was I was somewhere with my parents. No, I was at my grandma's house. That's where I was. In 2008 during the finals when the Celtics played the Lakers, I was watching from like my grandma's bed. She told me to go to sleep, right? But I could see the TV in the living room and my grandpa was watching the game. So I was watching like Rondo cook the Lakers over there, like through the little crack in the door.
Remember his behind the back pass to Ray Allen in the corner?
I like that one. I like how he does the fake behind the back. He like yanks it.
Yeah.
He'll throw a couple and then he'll yank one back to himself and have a lay. That's a nice move. I like
yeah,
that
when
one.
he
Yeah.
like takes it behind the back and then, oh, dude, that's the sexiest move. Who do you think is
Nice.
a better passer, Jay Will or Rondo?
Jay Will. That one's
Definitely Jay Will. Jay was flashier.
I mean, Jay Will, that kid saw everything. You were open for half a second. The ball's getting there.
Wait, quick Jay Will story. So Chris Webber was being interviewed on the Knuckleheads podcast, and I forgot how they were talking about it, but they were talking about that Kings team. And he was saying how he wanted to leave that Kings team before they drafted Jay Will. So it was the first practice of the game, and Chris Webber was like, man, I don't even want to be here. This team is weak, yada, yada, yada. Jay Will comes on the floor, and he's like, what up, cuz? And he's like talking to him, and Chris Webber's like, who the hell is this white boy? And then he's like, that was the birth of white chocolate. So Chris Webber already knew that Jason Williams was going to be a dog. So
Yeah, I heard even more to that story. He said he wanted to leave until every time he put his hand up, the ball was in his hand because Jay Will said he knew where the ball needed to go.
yeah,
So he said he put a paw up and the ball was there.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I wanted to go back and ask you about one more thing about Trae Young. He does this thing where he relies on this it seems like his entire offense relies on it now. Where he goes around the screen, he stops and he sticks his butt out and he tries to draw a foul. Do you think moves like that where the player initiates the move should be called an offensive foul? Because Curry did it today against
I saw that
and
with the elbow, right?
What's up?
With the elbow, right, where he pump faked into him and elbowed
Yeah.
Schroeder, Dennis Schroeder in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it depends on the situation. What Trae Young does, I don't condone it. But if you're coming off a screen, if it's an off-ball screen, so you don't have the ball, you're coming off a screen, and you catch the ball and you feel someone on your hip, and you're saying, man, I couldn't curl the screen because the ball was already thrown. First off, you should curl the screen. That's real basketball. Go curl the screen, go finish at the rim, or go lob it to your big guy, go throw it back out to the corner, something like that.
Yeah.
If the ball's already there and you don't have a chance, you could dribble it out, or you could jump straight up in the air. If you're that good of a three-point shooter and you go straight up in the air, he's not going to stop before you. He's going to hit you. So that one, I get it off-ball screens. Damian Lillard does that a lot. He comes off ball screens and he jumps straight up in the air and guys run into him and he's good at it and he gets to the line a lot like that. I don't like the way Trae Young does it off ball screens. I mean, the way you said it with an offensive player initiating it, I think if a defender jumps and the offensive player jumps into him, technically by the rule book, it's still the offensive player space. He can go there. If he wants to jump forward, he can jump forward. That's still a foul. It's your fault for jumping.
Yeah.
But I mean, I also understand the other argument of it where you could have went straight up, but why would I if I already got him in the air?
Yeah.
I think if we're gonna put blame on players for doing that, we also need to put blame on the refs because they're calling these calls, right? So if I'm an NBA player and I see that they keep calling that a foul, I'm obviously gonna use that to my advantage, right? So if the NBA really wants to stop that type of like nonsense where you're initiating the contact and getting the foul, refs need to stop calling that because once they stop calling it, you're not going to get that call, and players will ultimately stop doing that. They'll stop trying to call those or initiate those bullshit calls.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. What was it? Okay. So the next thing I want to talk about is about positionless basketball. So you mentioned of how Trae Young and Damian Lillard are doing these moves, and a lot of people are almost putting the blame on Steph Curry of how he almost single-handedly changed the NBA. Do you think all of these desperate attempts of trying to get any shot possible is because of Steph Curry, or how much influence do you think he has on modern day offense?
I don't think Steph. I think they're kind of two different things. I don't think Steph affected positionless basketball. I think positionless basketball was more of here's Giannis. I could go do what I want when I want to. I could dribble the ball up, or I could could guard a big on the other end. I think positionless came from guys like that, like Giannis, like the
LeBron.
original positionless guy is Kevin Durant. I mean, that dude's sick. He's absolutely unguardable. Possibly the best one-on-one player ever.
You can go back a little further. You say it was LeBron too, even though he's
Yeah,
not as good as a shooter,
even
but
a
he
guy
could
like
still play
LeBron,
1
like
through 5.
absolutely. And then, but I mean, people chucking up shots. Yeah, basically that stuff. That came from him. That he's. I mean, there's guys that don't know anything about Steph before he started, having MVP seasons and dropping all these bombs. He didn't start playing like that. He started shooting the ball from the 3-point line. He started getting minutes with Monte Ellis still when he was there. He worked his way.
Such a dog, bro.
He was good on the Bucks too.
Man.
He worked his way, and then all of a sudden he decided in practice one day, hey man, I could shoot from here. He started to show his coach he could shoot from here. He didn't just start chucking them, because in the NBA, if you start chucking them and you start missing, you're not gonna keep chucking them. You're gonna be chucking them from the end of the bench.
Yeah.
And he showed in practice he can make them, and he's one of them that can. And his coach said, okay, then go do it. And his coach is Steve Kerr, I have my own opinions about Steve Kerr. I think he's a fantastic, fantastic coach. I think he's one of the best that possibly there ever is to do it. I think he's the most positive guy. I think he's really good for players' confidence. I think he's a player's coach. But Steve Kerr's he's pulling him aside. He said, hey man, you're 2 of 17 today, but you're plus minus right now. You're +8. You're doing things for us that you don't even know you're doing for us. You're spreading the defense out. You're doing all these things. You just keep doing you. He's telling him, go forward, my son. Like he's joking with him, but he's a player's guy. He works with players really well. But to answer your question, yeah, Steph made shooting the ball from the 4-point line real. Yeah. And Dame was a kid that had range like that. And he said, wow, I could do that. So he started doing it. And then Trae Young came in. He doesn't have that range, so he started drawing fouls.
There's a very short list of players that have changed the culture or changed the NBA as a whole. And it's easy to say Steph Curry is probably the guy in our generation that's done that. I mean, AI really wasn't part of our generation. That was towards the end.
AI definitely wasn't mine. AI was he was an old man by the time I was born.
Yeah, exactly.
He was an old man in the league.
I think Steph, like obviously, like Kobe is great, but he didn't really change the game and how it was played per se. Steph was like, you don't have kids, like little kids saying like, oh, I want to shoot like Kobe, or I mean you do, but you have kids more like, oh, I want to pull up from 3 like Steph. Oh, I want to pull up.
Yeah, and that's ruining little kids. But
yeah, that's a whole different discussion.
I'm coaching these little kids every day, and instead of coming in and shooting flips like we used to, they come in and they're shooting like 50-footers, thinking they're Steph, which is a problem. But we get that out of kids' heads real quick.
We could easily say that Steph is our generational player that's changed the game and kind of evolved it. And
there's guys that change it. There's guys that change it in minor ways all the time. There's guys that change it in major ways. Very few.
Yeah.
Those are the AIs, the Jordans, the Magics, and who else would change it? Curry.
But you could low key say LeBron, just because of like
LeBron, KD, those guys majorly changed it. The guys that made positionless basketball changed it.
Yeah.
But then you got guys minorly. Jason Williams completely changed what a point guard was.
Yeah.
Those kids, they didn't ever look to score. He became flashy, scored sometimes, dished sometimes. He was a good guard. Then you got guys that I don't want to say. I mean, somewhat of an example is Jamal Crawford. He said, I could put you on an island. I can score when I want. And he's a guy that minorly changes the game. He said, look, Kobe can do it, and he's one of the greats. But I know I'm good enough to do it too. So I know if I get you on an island and you don't have help, you're going to get scored on. And that's where a little one-on-one basketball came from, and him and guys like Harden, who I can't stand, but that's different. But
he's definitely changed the game too. I completely forgot about that. Even though I can't stand him either, but he's definitely changed the way the game is played.
I think he should come off the bench for the Nets, but that's different. That's a whole different topic.
What was I going to say? So positionless basketball has caused a boom in the NBA for the past couple of years. The NBA is having the highest amount of points scored for the past couple of years, like by a mile in comparison to NBA history. Like it's crazy how much these players are scoring. So I was watching Jimmy High Roller on YouTube, and his argument was this. He said players are more talented than ever. I mean, you look at like Joel Embiid and like, Nikola Jokic, and he's saying players are more talented than ever on offense, and defense is hitting a plateau. He doesn't necessarily think defense has gotten better. He just thinks that players are so good that there's no defense that's going to be able to stop what's happening. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think there's guys that could have played in any generation. there's guys today that you could say couldn't have played back then. Joel Embiid would have got rocked in Jordan's era. He wouldn't be what he was. He would have got sat on his butt a couple times and never wanted to play again. That's the kind of player Joel Embiid is. Because there wasn't the complaining stuff to the refs anymore. If you complain to the refs, you'd go sit or something else would happen. But yeah, there's guys that are really talented. Guys are probably more talented today. Not more talented than everyone. The general average player in the league, if you take a guy like, like a Jordan Clarkson for the
Yeah.
Jazz right now, who's absolutely tearing it up. Like he's probably
This man-
right about middle of the pack for this league. I mean, he's a great 6-man, but he's right about middle of the pack for this league. He's a lot more talented than middle of the pack. I believe he's a lot more talented than middle of the pack of, Jordan's era, of a couple of other eras, of especially before Jordan's era. But
I mean, that makes sense. I can see that.
The top guys could have played in any era. The LeBron could have played any era. And I'm not the biggest LeBron fan, but he could have. Jordan could have played and been the best player of all time in any era. KD could have torn up any era. He might have been better in different eras. I mean, Kobe could have played anywhere. There's Shaq, all those guys. I mean, there's guys. The top of the top would have played anywhere they wanted, whenever time they wanted, and been just as good.
Yeah.
The average talent is probably better right now because you see guys that could have been role players and could have been told, "Oh, don't go score," when it was their turn in the '90s or in a time like that, because you got in your role and you worked really hard to get good at your role. And now in today's NBA, you work really hard to get good at your role, and then you spend an hour on improving your role, and then you spend an hour on, hey, I want to score more, and you spend an hour on, hey, I want to finish around the bucket more.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I also think that's a huge part of the game is how the refs play it, because as soon as they took away hand checks, they took away a whole lot of defense. You used to be able to guard someone with one hand on them, and you still can, but you can't put a hand. You have to put a forearm. And if you put in a forearm, and I got, Steph Curry standing in front of me, or I got a guy like, if I put a forearm on De'Aaron Fox, he's already gone as soon as I put my forearm on him. These guys are too fast. They're too strong. They're too quick to guard him with a forearm. If you could hand check still, you could still have space. You could space yourself from him, and you could bother him a little bit. You could hit his shoulder. You could hit things. But if you're hitting him like this, you're a foot away from him. De'Aaron Fox is gone. These fast guys in the league are gone, and they're making plays. I think taking away the hand check was a huge deal. And as soon as it happened, scoring went up in the NBA.
Yeah, taking away the hand check is another reason that a lot of smaller players have been able to widen their range, and they've been able to do pretty much whatever they want at the top of the screen, at the top of the key, and stuff like that. So now I want to, switch to our last segment, which is we want to do a draft of the best undersized players in their respective positions. Okay.
So we're building a lineup 1 through 5. So a guard, point guard, all the way to center.
Yeah. You have a list, or I got them?
Yep.
Do you have a list, or are we just naming them?
You could do your research real quick. You can look it up, but just off the cusp.
Hey, the only point guard I would have is Colin Sexton. That dude's a dog.
So is that your first pick?
Yeah. First pick is Colin Sexton for point guard.
Okay.
He's ridiculous. He's a smaller size point guard. He's not the strongest dude.
And he's been playing out, man. He's been playing really
following
well
him since high school. He's probably my favorite player in the league right now. I absolutely love watching Colin Sexton play. He works hard. He plays good defense.
Yeah.
I love the videos of him from high school where he's talking crap to Penny Hardaway.
I've seen that.
The one where he's staring someone down the free throw. I tell him I'm about to hit this. He's ridiculous. And then
he's a big talker.
The one in college where his whole bench gets ejected and he's playing 3-on-5 and he drops 41. Like, that's ridiculous. That's one of a generation thing that's going to happen. I fell in love with Colin Sexton's game and how he plays and how aggressive he is so long ago. I just think Colin Sexton is an absolute dog.
I'm gonna go with Allen Iverson. He was the OG, not the OG, but probably the best player at a relatively small size.
No, he's you're right, Jamil. He's easily the best undersized player ever.
Yeah.
Easily.
All right, Abe. We're gonna do a snake draft, by the way. So Abe is gonna get 2, and then we're gonna go backwards.
So I'm going Ben Wallace.
Oh my God.
And Charles Barkley.
Bruh.
Charles Barkley is a great one. That's a really good one.
I'm gonna go Dennis Rodman.
I wanted to pick him, dude. I wanted him so bad, but I knew Charles Barkley is way better.
You got Dennis at the 4 or the 3?
I mean, depending on who I pick later, I'll put him at the 4 or even the 5.
Yeah, you could put him 4 or 5.
4 or 5.
Yeah.
All right, at a shooting guard, I was thinking about this question earlier, and I picked more current guys because I didn't know we were going all time here. But so at a shooting guard, I would have Donovan Mitchell because that kid, he's tough as nails. He's only 6'1". I mean, he plays hard. He's a
Yeah.
hard worker.
It's a good pick.
I think he's really good. And Shaq's baking him, talking about how they don't want him to. He doesn't think he can carry a team, but I don't know about all that. It's a lot of talk from Shaq.
No,
You get one more pick.
casual.
Zach.
I'll pick for a small forward. What do you consider undersized for a small forward? Like 6'5"?
Yeah, 6'5" and under.
Off the top of my head, we're gonna have to go George Gervin because he was nasty and he was
the
6'5".
Iceman.
Iceman.
George Gervin was nice. And I wasn't alive to watch him play, but I mean he was nice with it.
Yo, when you get a chance, look up his poster of him sitting on the throne. There's a picture of him for his shoe deal where he's sitting on an ice throne, and it's the Iceman in his shoes, and he's holding like he's on ice. It looks fire, bro.
I've never seen that.
Look it up when you get a chance. It's
Yeah, I
iconic.
definitely will. That's
One of the best posters ever.
That's a good one.
I'm gonna go with the famous "You effing midget" Muggsy Bogues.
Oh man, the guy's career is ruined by Jordan, bro.
I like him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like Muggsy. Like literally, Jordan just
Wait.
ruined it by calling him the effing.
he was in Space Jam, right?
Yeah.
Bugsy Bogues, yeah, he was in Space Jam. That's a good movie.
Yes, sir. Cartoon Squad, boy. All right, I'm surprised he's even lasted this long. I'm going Elgin Baylor, very undersized. And then, just because I'm an ultimate Bulls fan, I'm going Nate Robinson, bro.
Nate
Yeah,
Robinson was tough.
Man could carry a team. He was fire in the playoffs with the Bulls, man.
I'm Oh, you're gonna get a second player, right, Ibrahim? Or was
I
that-
did Elgin Baylor and Nate
Oh
Robinson.
yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go with Paul Millsap
That's a good pickup.
back in his day.
He's a smaller dude. Paul Millsap was nice. I gotta go with Larry Johnson when he was with Charlotte.
Grandmama, let's go.
He was a tough dude. He was
Let's
tough nose. He was
go.
hard nosed.
Yes.
I mean, thinking of a center, I mean,
Do you know
wanna
about
say-
Do you know about his dunk commercial?
I've seen that one before, actually.
The
Yeah,
grandmama?
it came up on like it came up as like a YouTube ad or some time I saw it.
Yeah.
I want to say, I mean, it depends who you're considered. If you could put Johnson at a center, I would say someone like a Draymond Green for a 4.
Okay, that's a great pickup.
He's his own dude. He does his own thing. He does what he needs to do to win. I'm not the biggest Draymond Green fan, but you have to respect what he does. I mean, he's sick. And
No, he
knows what he's
impacts the
doing.
game in so many ways. It's ridiculous without even
He's a
scoring
winner.
the ball.
He does what he needs to do to win.
Yeah,
I like it.
it's
I like
crazy.
that about.
It's very Dennis Rodman-esque.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Is 6'6" short for a small forward?
Yeah, that's only one is taller than 6'5". I mean, it's short today. It
Yeah.
wouldn't be short like back in the day.
I mean, I would put, because of how he plays, maybe even a Zach LaVine there. He plays a lot of small forward, so I'll put Zach.
Yeah.
LaVine.
Okay.
I like
Get
them.
mad at that
The
one.
Bulls are fun.
Get mad at that. I'm gonna go with. Honestly, I just want like a big team, but this doesn't make sense if I pick up Wes Unseld because I have literally 3 bigs with him, but he was very undersized and fire. But I'm gonna have to go with. What's up?
I use Wes Unseld in 2K. He's good.
Yeah.
He's
yeah.
nice in 2K.
I'm gonna have to go with Spud Webb.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about him. Spud's sick.
Spud Webb. Spud Webb. I want that
Champion
Spud Webb
Spud.
jersey. The throwback.
Dunk champion Spud.
So real quick, the teams we got. So Zach's team is Colin Sexton, Donovan Mitchell, the Iceman, which was a very good pickup, Grandmama, Larry Johnson, and Draymond Green. Jamil has got AI, Dennis Rodman, the Worm, Muggsy Bogues, Paul Millsap, and Zach LaVine. I got Ben Wallace, Sir Charles Barkley, Elgin Baylor, Nate Robinson, and Spud Webb. I don't know, man. Jamil's team is looking
My team
Pretty
wouldn't
nice
win.
AI
Not
and
gonna
Zach
lie.
Levine.
What'd you say, Zach?
No, my team wouldn't win. I don't think we'd catch a dub against any of those. But you know, we'd be around. We'd hang around.
Just wouldn't be able to hang with
No,
AI.
we'd be like 500 in the NBA today. We wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, you guys would be decent. I mean, the whole NBA is undersized, to be quite
Be
honest.
all right. Nah, guys are also listed as who knows what. I mean, they got KD listed at 6'10". He's like 7'2".
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, that is all the time we have for everything today. Thank you guys for listening or watching. Thank you, Zach, for being an esteemed guest on our esteemed podcast.
Yes,
You were
sir.
amazing.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
I appreciate
Y'all
it.
heard it first. Young Bull.
I'm
Zach,
throwing
Zach,
up on Instagram
Peace.
tonight.
thank you guys for listening to the Comment Podcast. Peace out.